What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to GNR. My name is Francisco, and today I am going to talk about some plugins you can use in OBS that will help your microphone sound buttery smooth for all your Twitch streams, your YouTube videos, or maybe even your podcasts, no matter what microphone you're using. Let's go. So for the longest time, I've been battling with trying to get really good mic quality out of any microphone that I've used in the present or past, right? And I've been successful to a degree, but one thing that I am is a control freak to an extent, and I like to be able to control all aspects of my content as best as I can. And one of those things involved really learning how to really control what comes out of my microphone, right? I can control what goes into it because I simply speak into a microphone, but what that sounds like on its way out over to you is something that I really hadn't quite mastered. And I haven't mastered it just yet, but I'm in the process of. But I'm going to help you get to where I am right now with my quality as well. So first thing you're going to need to do is I want you to go over to Google or whatever web browser you prefer, and I just want you to type in Reaper plugins. When you do that, I want you to go to the very first link here at the top, and you're going to go to this website here, and on the second little box you're going to see the download links. Make sure you download the correct link for your corresponding OS. If you're running a 32-bit version of Windows 10, download 32-bit. If you're running a 64-bit version of Windows 10, download the 64-bit. Download your file, extract them, install them wherever you want to install them, and then the next thing you're going to want to do is I want you to go ahead and open up OBS. All right. In OBS, what you're going to do is whatever channel you have your microphone set to under Audio Mixer, you're going to go to this little gear. For me, I have my microphone set up to mic/aux. But you can also run your microphone as an audio input source as one of your sources here. So whichever one you have, you're going to find it here and you're going to go to this little gear. I want you to go to filters and you're going to see mine. They're already up and running, okay? But you're not going to have anything here. Or maybe you do, just delete them. Maybe you're using the OBS plugins, just remove them, delete them. Thank you, OBS. I appreciate the effort. It's very helpful, but Reaper gives you so much more control. So I want you to hit plus, and I want you to go to VST2X plugin and type in, name it whatever you want, right? So I kind of keep the name corresponding with the plugin I'm going to be using. For example, the first plugin I added was going to be the noise gate. So I went ahead and go to the drop-down menu. I found Regate, which is right. Oh God, here it is, right? Regate standalone. So you click on that. You can rename it that whatever you want. I called it Reaper Gate, and you're going to go over here to Open Plugin Interface. What's going to open up is basically your menu section for this specific plugin. This is what you're going to play around with to really get the noise gate working to your liking and to your needs. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is number one, okay, before you even start playing with any settings, is I need you to get on a good pair of headphones and I need you to turn mic monitoring on in OBS. If you don't know how to do this, let's do it right now. So where your mic is under Audio Mixer, you're going to hit the gear again, and you're going to go to Advanced Audio Properties. You're going to find your mic channel right here, and you're going to go to Monitor and Output. When you click on that, if everything else is set up correctly on Windows, if you have the right audio output source turned on, you should be able to monitor your voice in real time. So what you say into OBS is going to come right into your headphones, and this will give you a good idea of what things are sounding like as you begin to change them. So with your mic monitoring turned on, we're going to go ahead and go back to our filters and we can begin to play with the Reaper Gate. So in this menu, in this window, the only thing that you need to play with is going to be the slider all the way to the left, okay? The first thing I want you to do is I want you to be absolutely quiet so that we can get a gauge of what your ambient noise is like and how much noise is bleeding into your microphone. So let's be quiet. Okay, so as you saw, the two bars on the left here, they dropped down, they got to a certain point and they stayed there and hovered up and down for quite a little bit, right? That is indicative of your background noise. It would be PC fans, ceiling fans, AC unit, people talking in the background, just the overall noise of the environment that you're recording in, right? So the first rule of Fight Club in this one is going to be your slider needs to be above that hovering point, and it needs to be above, and you need to give it some buffer room, right? The next thing you're going to want to do is you want to begin speaking into your microphone, because if your noise gate is set too low, then obviously you're going to have a whole lot of noise bleeding into it. But if it's set too high, what I found is that it's going to begin to cut out parts of your speech, right? So I noticed that for me, anytime I was saying any words that started with P, T, or F, right? If I wasn't really extending the first like syllables of those words, like professional, right? It would cut out a small portion of it, and it just sounded a little weird. So you're gonna want to play around with that, and you're gonna be able to get it to where you can clearly hear the beginning and ends of your words, and you're gonna want to be able to not hear all the ambient noise that would typically bleed into your microphone. So in order to really give you an idea what that sounds like, I have the noise gate turned on right now. Let's go ahead and turn it off and just see what the microphone would pick up on its own. Anyways, if you notice down here at the bottom on the audio mixer, you can see the level keep going up and down in green, right? So that means that it's picking up some noise, and it may not be audible under a standard mix, which, you know, whatever your stream is hearing or whatever your YouTube video audience is going to listen to. But if you were to crank up the volume, you definitely would be able to hear it. So let's turn it back on and see what it sounds like now. Nothing, right? At least from what I'm seeing here in OBS, nothing. Nothing under mic aux when I'm quiet. Wonderful. So once you've got that set up to your liking and you've got the desired results you want, we're going to move on to the next one. The next thing I do is I went ahead and added in our compressor. All right, so compressor, I guess the easiest explanation that I can give to you and the one that worked for me is simply this. You have your highs, your mids, and your lows, right? And sometimes we have really high highs and really low lows, and it just doesn't really sound all that well. Sometimes the lows might come in a little too quiet, and the highs might come in a little too high, and it kind of throws things off. So what a compressor does is that it takes your highs and your lows and your sound in general, and it kind of crunches them and compresses them down to meet somewhere in the middle so that they're at a constant level, right? So that way your highs aren't all the way up here and your lows aren't all the way down here, and it all sounds just nice and consistent across the board. This is one of the better settings to adjust so that you can get something close to your radio broadcast quality, right? So first things first is I want you to hear what this would sound like with the compressor turned off. Okay, so now the compressor is turned off and I'm using the Shure SM7B. This is what it's going to sound like. I actually haven't used this microphone and monitored it without the compressor turned on, so I'm curious to see what this sounds like. I'm sure you're going to love it. But personally, I always keep the compressor on anyway, so we're going to go ahead and turn it right back on. And the same principle applies, right? To add it in, you go to the plus sign, VST plugins, drop-down menu. You're going to hit Recomp, open plugin interface, and now you're at the menu to adjust its settings. In this menu, the only three or four things you want to adjust. Number one is you're going to adjust your ratio. The ratio I recommend for radio broadcast quality is going to be 3.1 to 1. Leave it there and don't mess with it, ideally. Now, mess with it if you don't like it, but you don't want to go anywhere higher than that. Like 3.1 to 1 is usually the highest I want to go. The next one you're going to want to play around with is going to be wet and dry. Now, don't ask me why, but I just found through trials and tribulation that playing with wet and dry, having dry all the way down and wet here at the default setting is what sounded best for me. The only other thing that you're going to want to play around with is the threshold right here. I can't explain threshold to you, I'm very sorry, but once again, just play around with it until you get the voice and the results that you like and you want, and leave it there. For me, negative 10.3 dB is what ended up working, so I left it there. The next one I think is probably one of the more powerful settings that you're going to play around with, and that's going to be Reaper EQ. All right, so with your EQ, you're going to really be able to adjust your highs, your lows, and your mids, and this one can be a little intimidating at first. Now bear in mind, this is what it sounds like, my Shure SM7B. This is what it sounds like with the Reaper EQ turned off. So let's go ahead and turn it on real quick, see if you can hear a difference. And FYI, if you don't have any headphones on while you're listening to this, go ahead and put some on now. And I would even say restart the video and put some on again. The best way to get a true understanding of what your audio sounds like is through headphones. Like, you might have a great sound bar, you might have some great speakers, and that might be able to help you out. But I find that the best results come from using headphones, right? So this is with Reaper EQ turned off, and this is the Shure SM7B with the Reaper EQ turned on. Now, granted, I did play around with this setting and this microphone yesterday. I just got this yesterday, actually. And I found that although it sounds great in my opinion, I don't really need it, so I have it turned off. But we'll leave it turned on for all intents and purposes, right? So same principle applies. You hit the plus sign, VST plugins, drop-down menu. You're going to select Re-EQ standalone, open plugin interface, and now this is what you're going to get. So what you're going to see if this is the first time you're playing around with this, is that all the little dots are just flat. They're just all in a straight line right here. What I want you to do first is just, since you're going to probably play around with this dot first, pick any dot, and you're going to change each one from type, and it's going to go to band, all right? I want you to keep it at band. Don't play with gain. Don't play with any of these numbers. Don't play with anything else. Leave everything as is. The only thing you're going to change is the drop-down menu next to type. That needs to be set to band. The dot all the way to the left is going to control your lows. The dot all the way to the right is going to control your highs. The dot here in the middle is for your mids, and this guy right here I think is for something else. Anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to click and hold on each dot and move them up and down, side to side, until you get your desired results. And rinse and repeat across the board, and you're going to be able to hear all the changes in real time. If you're having a hard time really understanding how this is affecting your vocal quality, take any one of these dots and move them all the way to up or all the way down, and it's going to drastically change the quality. And then you'll have a really good reference point to really start kind of changing and adjusting it to your liking. Once you've got that set up, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, you're done. Now, once again, this is the SM7B with all of my Reaper plugins turned on, but let's go ahead and turn them all off. And now, ladies and gents, this is the Shure SM7B with all the Reaper plugins turned off. I actually haven't even heard what it sounds like with them off, so this will be a first for me. I'll probably put a little text in here to see what I think about it, but let's turn them back on now. And now we have all of the Reaper plugins turned back on. I have used these plugins across a variety of different microphones, across a variety of price ranges, right? So I'm talking like budget under $100 microphones, $100 to $200 microphones, $300 to $400 microphones. I've used these plugins and I've achieved great results no matter what kind of microphone I use. Whether it was a dynamic or a condenser microphone, I got great results either way. Now, bear in mind, this isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Every microphone behaves differently and everyone's voice is different. So my settings don't necessarily work for you. So what I want to encourage you to do is go ahead and spend the time and actually fiddling with them and playing around with them till you get the results that you want. And I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below if it helped you. Let me know below if you have any other questions or what results you kind of got out of this. Until next time, be good to yourselves, be good to one another. Peace out.